I'm leaving for going.
Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is July 2nd, 2023.
Welcome to America.
Thank you, Howard. I'm finally back.
Were you
Um,
homesick at all or no?
Not really, because I got to explore and see so many different things, see how people live in various parts of Europe. So that was fun.
Those suckers over there missing San
Yeah,
Diego.
I mean, people live well there too. It's not just San Diego.
Of
Uh,
course, they look great. The
yeah,
sorry for the echo. My house is still under construction. Maybe I'll put on the headphones. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you well. Yeah, no issues.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome home. The weather's just been 2 weeks of heaven.
Yeah, and I noticed it's really nice, and evenings are cold. So I think, at least in terms of weather, probably San Diego is unbeatable anywhere in the world.
I mean, that
Maybe
I have maybe because it's so much rain and clouds for 6 months. I heard that just it's so clear and crisp, and it just everything's very green. Other than the ocean being closed, it's a disaster here. The
the
water.
ocean being closed. Yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't been to the beach yet, so I don't know. I'll
I
check
don't
it
know if
out.
it's affecting you. You're north.
Yeah.
Coronado Beach is still pretty closed. It's closed. I mean, I saw some surfers out there in wetsuits, but you're not supposed to be out there.
Hmm.
I've never seen the island this busy either, so it's weird. It's just everybody's bunching up because there's nobody in the water.
Yeah.
We're getting out of here to go to Toronto for 10 days, just because we hopefully when we get back, the house is further done. All right, so best NASDAQ 100 quarter. I did not see that coming, although definitely we were bullish here this full 6 months. I think like if we were to look back at every show, we were bullish.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be as price action improved, especially towards the end of the first quarter,
Yeah, by
when
end
the
of
Nas.
January, I mean, there was just so many breakouts for
Yeah,
bottom.
I mean, earlier in the year, the first quarter, it was mostly about the same seven stocks, like mega cap stocks, like the FANGs.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the past couple of months, we saw market breadth improving and a lot more names joining the rally, which typically happens in a bull
Yeah.
market. It's normal. And yeah, I mean, over the past few weeks, we saw a lot of strength in various sectors. To me, one of the interesting themes was travel. For the past quarter, the best performing stocks on the S&P 500 were all the cruise lines. I mean, just a couple of years ago, everyone thought they're going extinct, bankrupt, basically. I mean, they just had their best quarter in a while. Let's take a look on a weekly.
Well, they're comparing themselves to their bank report. But yeah, no doubt. I mean,
I mean, on
this
the
was
S&P, the best performance, and it's not just them. If you look at airlines, they're also been breaking out. Look at
Royal. Yeah, Jets kind of haven't had it up 50% this quarter, so that's the ETF.
yeah. And then when I saw that strength, I was like, with all the traveling, maybe MasterCard and Visa will also perk up. And yes, they're starting to break out as well. This is a huge base on MasterCard,
Wow, huge base. I remember.
multi-year base.
Yeah.
Look at the month. I mean, obviously they're not growing as much as they used to. One of the best performing stocks for the past 15 years or so. But now this is a, I don't know, 3-year base, 2-year base.
That's not what a recession looks like.
I mean, it's just, yeah, it means people are actually, out and spending, and the
I mean, you
hotels
can
are,
see where you can see like September, October, where it looked of last year. If you go to MasterCard and Visa, you can see where, you know, you people were giving up, including me, right? Like
yeah,
you
definitely, yeah.
that's where, you had peak. It's just things were down 30%. You protect the mothership. And obviously there's been stocks that have done much better since those lows, so it doesn't matter. But these are just, I don't think they can return, just law of large numbers. Where's the market cap to 400 billion? So I've swapped out into other things, but man, that looks good from an economy's perspective. And I think that's stronger than Visa.
Yeah, a little bit stronger, but both are kind of moving together. Obviously, Visa went public a little bit later, so they didn't deliver as much
Yeah.
to the shareholders. And
But a
so
bigger company. Well,
we
400.
have cruise lines,
Yeah, so
airlines,
you've got strength in airline, strength in housing, strength in
anything. Yeah,
weakness in commodities. You've got US dollar firming up. You've got foreign banks strong. You have Japan strong. You have China weak. You know, I was looking through the China stuff and it just can't get a bid.
yeah, it's pretty weak compared to the rest of the
And what's
world.
so interesting is like, you know, I was thinking about Facebook and I'm thinking, who's the biggest beneficiary of China being weak? Is Facebook, right? Because Instagram, there still is that chance that, you know, just like the SEC hit Bitcoin, right? You know, the right when they were weakest, you know, it wouldn't shock me for the government to step in here on TikTok. You haven't, it's been quiet, right? Like, you know, and it's such an addictive product. And I find that Instagram this is my biggest miss of the year because I do find myself using Instagram, not as a contributor, but just as I've kind of gone full in. I don't know if you use it for, I don't use it to post, but I use it to just laugh at dog videos. And I'm like that old enough person now where I just succumb to the algo. So I get golf instruction, fitness instruction, watches. Like it's not like Twitter where I have to like scroll through anything. Like pretty much every post is what I would want it to be. And I mean, so they've got to just be crushing it on ads and on, you know,
I mean, we don't see
TikTok
it
must
in
be
their
crushing
numbers,
it
but
too. But like,
yeah,
you know, the so what's a trade? So it's like trading at
735 billion.
a billion, but what's the multiple? So it's just not that expensive.
Yeah, it just depends on what you consider expensive. I think
Oh God,
Google
I
is
remember selling that at 150, thinking, okay, like, and
if you look at the PE ratios, probably Google is the one that is, and Apple. No, Google is the cheapest out
for a
of all
reason.
the
I mean, for a
FANGs.
reason right now. I mean,
Yeah.
they're gonna have to prove that, and there's a lot of proving to do that AI won't be, you know, being priced that it's being disrupted. Amazon had a first quarter, I think. Anyway, so 39% on the Nasdaq 100, Apple up 50%. But I, you know, maybe not surprised by Apple, but definitely surprised by the Qs being up.
$3 trillion company. Does the law of big numbers even apply anymore?
Not when they just like the AirPods, the watch. You know, now they've got a $3,000 product coming out that enough people will buy, like kind of LVMH. People that don't think people will spend $3,000 have not really seen the lineups at Hermes and LVMH. You know, they haven't really understood that what people will spend on luxury goods, you know,
Yeah.
and like basically having a movie theater on your forehead. So Apple's pretty much, you know, got a lockdown right. I mean, they look like the cheapest company out there because they've got that utility back end, right, with the subscribers, just people paying Apple, and then they've got the wallet, and then they've got, you know, a pipeline of, you know, this is what are you working off right now in Apple, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, almost everything I own is Apple, and
Yeah, and you
you know,
and in that industry, your industry was, you know, the people trading from home on multiple screens. We were the last guys to switch over. I think you probably work off one screen, don't you?
yeah, one screen and my phone. Yeah, so basically that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got airlines, housing, um,
Travel. I mean, anything travel, I was gonna finish that.
travel.
Even like booking, they also build a huge base
Yeah.
here. So
This is this is this is fascinating. If you told me rates would be at mortgage rates would be at 6.5%, Nasdaq would be at 40%, that definitely wouldn't have.
yeah, an incredible
Price
strength in
action for
housing.
sure was not shortable, but like I didn't think we would have this big a quarter, no doubt.
Very big 6 months for housing, and the numbers for them are starting to improve, because people earlier in the year, they were wondering why is housing so strong with the numbers so weak from them, and the market is forward looking, and now we're starting to see improvement in numbers, in sales.
Yeah.
And this is why the market is forward looking. A lot of the times it just kind of guesses the future correctly, not always, but in this case it was right.
Yeah, I mean that big move down in October last year, and then you had the double bottom there in housing at the end of 22. And so listen, hats off to the people that just stayed with the indexing. And I think a lot of it has to do with that. People are just buying dips, and there's not many alternatives. There's been no IPO supply. If we go back to IPOs, I mean, listen,
Yeah.
the market has been closed to IPOs, and any of the IPOs have underperformed, even Airbnb, and
It's
an underperformer. I'm trying to think what else. Uber was an underperformer. So
it's finally
any
coming
of the
back.
COVID IPOs are underperformers.
Yeah.
So if you go back and look at the IPO index, I mean, there's just a lack of supply.
I'm sure it's coming. Probably
No,
after
well,
the
that's what I'm
summer.
saying. Like,
Yeah.
so this bull market can go on a long time, right? We haven't even opened a window yet, right? And the SEC killed shit coins. So it's like the only place to speculate right now is in the stock market. Now you're seeing in Bitcoin over 30,000 again tonight. I think that's really interesting, Ivan, is what's happening in the crypto space. So, Mike, he's turning out to be super wily at MicroStrategy, right? He's well positioned if Bitcoin is the one. You know what I mean? Like he's
He's
cornering.
the ETF, basically, the Bitcoin ETF right now. So
He's basically an ETF with
yeah.
a data company behind it. He may have the last laugh here, but if we think about it, BlackRock, Ivan. I mean, this if you think about Larry Fink, just went through some of the numbers, forgetting their stock. They see the future in blockchain, right? This, as Yoni Editoro told me back in 2010, 2011, blockchain's coming for the financial industry, right? It's just a very efficient, maybe we're not there yet, but think who's finally converting over to the blockchain. It's BlackRock, Vanguard. No, sorry, BlackRock, Fidelity. If BlackRock is 99% approval when they file for an ETF over the course of their history. I read that stat today. So the SEC kicked them out last week again, but they're coming right back this week with changes. So you've got Fidelity, VanEck, and BlackRock all coming with Bitcoin ETFs, right? So that's a sign that the blockchain is coming. And then you've got Bitcoin trading over 30,000 still. And I don't think GPTC is a good way to look at it, but fine.
No, it's not. I'm just pulling up an
And then
alternative here.
Ethereum is, closing in on 2,000 right now. So basically, all Gensler has done is force people into those two while they wait, right? So you have all the speculative money that's transferring out of shitcoins into Bitcoin and Ethereum waiting. Coinbase has probably got. Can you go back to a daily there, Ivan, on Coinbase?
Sure.
Talked about it last week. So Coinbase is now above the gap down price when Gensler back in June. You see that big red 66? Yeah. So it's back above 66, and that's where Gensler came full Blair. So you stay above that 66, 65. I don't think you got tremendous upside, but like there is a bottom forming in that company. So I've been talking about that one. So that's a derivative way to play the Bitcoin ETF and shitcoin. So it's a really levered play to Bitcoin. So I think that's interesting, right? And at the same time, you have gold going down. Gold versus the S&P has just been horrific. So everybody was doom and glooming on the US dollar. I remember it like a couple months ago, and dollar's holding fine.
Yeah, I mean, inflation numbers have been coming down as of now, or even though those numbers are a bit lagging indicators.
I So I don't know what the bear case is here, other
I
than
mean,
shorting crappy stocks. I think you can still short crappy stocks. But it's
there's
still,
always a bear case. The question is it working right now in an uptrend? And it's kind of not. Obviously, it depends on your time frame. If it's like a daily or a swing, you can always find something. The
yeah.
question is, why would you fight?
Well, everything's factored in. I mean, the Fed said they're hawkish, right? So they don't plan on cutting rates, and the market didn't panic.
Yeah, the question is, are they going to raise rates as the housing numbers are
Sounds like
improving,
they are.
and they might even increase it further if they wanted to.
So I'm saying, like, I think you can overthink this. I think you got to be careful of chasing. And then I was looking at energy rotation report pulled up this nuclear stock BWXT, which I just did. They're just supplying materials for nuclear.
Yeah,
Uh,
nuclear definitely has been coming back.
so what's that? So Camco is, yeah, that's more of a miner. Go to the weekly on Camco. Yeah, that looks good. But BWXC is more of a component, like it's actual products. And that is a hell of a, breakout there with look at the volume.
Yeah, for the month, definitely a record
Yeah. So
volume,
they're more
honestly.
in providing equipment. So if the world does go nuclear, this is a company. What's the market cap? 6 billion?
Let's see, six, yeah, and a half, yeah.
Yeah. 20 times revenue, 20 times earnings. It's kind of just been flat, but
It's not growing fast, so
yeah,
yeah.
it's not growing fast. But remember, there's no nuclear right now. So it's like if there's all this upside if government starts, talking about nuclear. So I'm reading up on that. That looks like a great breakout. So that's on it's an American company too. Power generations and components for US government. So you got a great customer, right? So if you own a Palantir, right, you own Palantir because government's your customer. Okay. So if you're gonna own Palantir, you might as well throw in a little bit of, some other government products and nuclear, so kind of hedge it with some nuclear.
It's interesting how solar has been kind of lagging
Yeah.
this
Well,
year.
I think because of pricing power, Ivan. Remember, solar is great and wind is great, but like you gotta, you know, the price of the components of this stuff's coming down, and maybe they just don't have pricing power. These companies is all I can think about. Okay, so there's that. What is it? Tesla had big numbers like after the like on the Friday, so that's looking a gap up again. Trying to think what else. What else do you see? Fiserv, FISD, that's like in the financial sector, broke out to new highs. So another financial data company. Yeah, I think it's V.
Oh,
Yeah, FISD, I think
no, it's not the one.
Fiserv. So just hang on, let me
Either
look.
way, they're strong in so many places, strength in so many places. Like we have this one, Glob, e-online.
Yeah, FISD. Sorry, which one?
I was just showing.
V is in Victor, not D. FISD.
It's not showing up.
It's not working.
It's not.
Works on stuff.
It's probably the symbol is different. So I think
Okay, type in.
Shopify is setting up right now. This is a week daily, and on a weekly, it's working on a new base here.
Yeah.
And
What else?
Globe is like kind of similar to Shopify, Israeli-based company for
Which one?
global e-online,
Yep.
GLBE. It's
Mm-hmm.
breaking out, so it's kind of international play and also on e-commerce, kind of
Yep.
similar to Shopify.
Yeah.
Those two showing strength as, if travel is doing well, if spending is doing well, obviously those two, Shopify and global e-online
Yeah. I'm super bullish
are
on
improving.
Shopify. What else was I looking at this week? If you look at what's really done the best, um,
Software has been really,
John Markman was talking about like the new four horsemen. He was saying it's Broadcom, which is AVGO, NVIDIA, Oracle, and
semiconductors.
Microsoft. So if you look at how strong these have been since the AI kind of since ChatGPT came out. Um, it's been, if you look at the end of the year, Nvidia's up 400%. Microsoft's up probably 100%. No, 50%.
Yeah.
Oracle, which is partnering with Nvidia, which partnering Nvidia on another cloud system with their chips, that's basically doubled since. So relative strength, Oracle's been one of the new leaders, right? Since ChatGPT came out. So it's kind of been the chip companies, Oracle, AVGO, Microsoft. So it's not just Apple, right?
Oh no, there's plenty. There are plenty of stocks that are doing better than Apple.
Which is just good, right? Like technologies find a way. Like there's organic and real growth, which is what really matters. Like Apple's delivering great products that people are buying, and Nvidia and Broadcom and Oracle are at the enterprise are crushing it. People can't get enough of their product, right? So it's super interesting.
Or
And then
enough of
the
their stock.
financials, Ivan, are doing great, like globally, like you said, Argentina, like forgetting investment banks, but like the banks themselves, right? Like there could be massive upgrade. If you look at the Argentine banks and some of the European, even the German turd banks. So Argentina, maybe the worst inflationary country in the world, is something going on with respect to blockchain and stable coins behind the scenes. Is that why BlackRock and these companies are doing this, right? And you also saw that Goldman ditched Apple or is trying to ditch the Apple relationship. Maybe they're just going to get back to business and start pillaging, foreign countries again. So I think there is something underneath that we don't know that's super bullish, right? And maybe that's just a breakout in some piece. Like I don't know. But what was the tensions like, Ivan, that you were seeing with Ukraine? And like you were closer to it with Ukraine, Russia. Like what's the European, what's the version there? Is there going to be a long drawn out war like everybody here thinks?
Yeah, most likely. Yeah. Just people expect the conflict to continue for a while, but obviously no one knows. So, I mean, life just goes on as usual.
But it doesn't. Like as the longer the war goes on, more people will get drawn into it. So that's still the overhanging negative.
I
But you
mean,
didn't
yeah.
find the people in Bulgaria weren't.
I mean, people are not even talking that much about it anymore. I mean, you see a lot of cars with Ukrainian registration everywhere in Europe as people travel from there and they basically moved. That's about it. And obviously, there's some local, regional consequences out of the war and the quality of the water, for example, in the Black Sea, stuff like this. It's not really like a daily conversation that much.
Interesting. Okay. And so you're happy to be home. And then what else? The industrials too, Ivan. Like they're breaking out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge pace here on a weekly, approaching all-time highs and doing better
If you
than
think
the
about the
S&P.
industrials, Ivan, go back to the monthly. I mean, these have been go back to a month. I mean, they're basically a double since '07. So this is a huge breakout. You had that retest what in 2020.
But the S&P has done better since also. Let's see.
No doubt, but industrials
Yeah.
are still growing, but that's just bullish. Like there's pricing power. Stuff's getting built.
Pricing power or just inflation? Inflation can help you
Yeah,
too.
yeah, really fascinating. Well, markets really do amazing things, man. Like the price action is just
Yeah. I mean,
staggering.
even stocks like Zillow that was left for dead last
I
year,
mean,
as you can see, they
theoretically,
doubled.
it was left for dead, but what a great brand. And but the question is, is there any growth in some of these, right? Like, um, it's not terribly expensive that they meet their numbers, but pretty much an ad-based business still and lead gen based business. Tough. And there's not international there, right? They don't own any international.
Yeah,
So
as far as I know, yeah. Because if you look
no, they
over,
don't. There's a company in London. There's a company in the UK that like is the Zillow of UK. I was doing some research
almost
on.
every country has their own Zillow.
Yeah.
If you, yeah.
So, and I'm just trying to think of their market cap, 11 billion. Maybe they could do some acquisitions, but it's very US centric. Not that
Oh,
there's
with this
massive.
market cap, they can probably buy all of
Yeah.
the major real estate sites
Yeah.
around the
But
world.
yeah, but it's just, that's going to be a slow grind through all that, all the dip buyers there. So that one's kind of off my screen. But yeah, it's an internet stock that's kind of doubled off the lows. All right, what are you doing?
I'm just, taking setups, trading them, and there are plenty of them as of right now.
Yeah,
So,
one thing I saw interactive brokers, what's the name? Report was saying, this is kind of how people could play the tough to buy foreign banks, etc., and foreign stocks is just because interactive brokers gets all that
I
transaction
mean, they
volume.
have the growth, because they definitely attracted
It's kind of the leading broker, right?
a lot of
Trading at
new money. Yeah.
60 times earnings.
I mean, there
So
are not that many alternatives now that TD Ameritrade is finally
just think
officially
they are the
moving
only one,
moving
which is
into Schwab.
which is a shame because that's what Web 2 was supposed to disrupt from Robinhood on down. These interactive brokers are just getting stronger.
Yeah, but why is Hood not pulling up?
It's just terrible. But again, it's terrible for a reason. It's just not executing right on product.
I mean, if
And
this bull market continues long enough, they're gonna bounce too
yeah, no, they
eventually.
dance, but the wallet share, I believe me, I know from using the product, the wallet share just isn't there. I hope I'm wrong. But you can see the lack of execution versus Coinbase, which is just fighting, which is really fighting for its life, and I think setting itself up, if positioning themselves, as a trusted brand in a
Yeah,
really non-trusted market.
the miners are looking better, Mara and Riot, even better
Yeah, I mean,
than
there's
Coinbase.
nobody left. So if mining, becomes interesting, there's only a few of these guys out there.
Yeah,
Much like energy, it's just that's a tough business because it's boom bust. All right, we covered a lot of ground, man. It's good to have you.
yeah,
We'll hit the beach. I've been running every day.
I will.
Are you going to start doing the F45 or no?
I'll just go to my regular gym. There are plenty of classes and a better variety, so I'll do that.
All right, when I get back from Toronto, we'll hang out.
All right, cool. See you
All right,
next
see
week.
you, everybody.
Bye.